Hi, I'm Christina, and this is going to be my January and February reading wrap up. So I've read 6 books at the start of 2021, and I have 3 contemporaries to talk about, 1 science fiction, 1 fantasy, and 1 thriller. And it's been a bit of a mixed bag in terms of ratings. So I've had some books that I've really loved and gave 5 stars to, and then some that I thought were a bit rubbish and gave kind of 2 stars to. So I have 3 5-star reads, 1 3-star read, and 2 2-star reads. And I'm going to start with the books that I like the least and then work my way up to the books that I really enjoyed and the books that I love the most. So starting with the 2-star reads, the first one is The Perfect Mother by Aimee Molloy. So this is the thriller, and I really like the premise of this one. It just didn't really work for me in execution. So it's about this group of mothers who are all pregnant at the same time, and all their babies are due at the same time, and they call themselves the May Mothers. And then on the first night out since they've become mothers, one of the babies gets abducted from his crib. And I just kind of thought it was average. It felt run of the mill to me. It felt like a kind of book that I've already read before. For a thriller, it wasn't really thrilling. I didn't find it exciting at all. It really lacked that excitement element for me. And I just kind of thought the plot was a bit, just a bit dull and a bit stilted. And the way it was kind of all resolved, I was just like, I didn't really like it. So I wouldn't really recommend this one. I think it's pretty average, run of the mill for a thriller. Just going to give it 2 stars. And yeah, not much more to say about that one really. So the second book I gave 2 stars to is a contemporary, Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. Now this was one of my most anticipated releases and I was really looking forward to this one, but it just didn't quite work for me. So this is my second Fredrik Backman novel. I read Beartown first, which I absolutely loved. I thought it was so wonderful. I gave it 5 stars and it was my absolute favourite book in the year that I read it. Whereas this one just didn't really have the same vibe to me. So the premise is, it is a bank robbery gone wrong. It's a hostage situation gone wrong. And it's trying to have a lot of humour in it. And it's quite a silly type of book. And that's the thing that I didn't really connect to. It was just a little bit too silly for me. And obviously humour is very subjective. And I just didn't really click with it. I wasn't really invested in any of the characters, and in Beartown I really was invested in the characters. I really genuinely cared what happened to them and I was really interested, whereas all the characters in this book to me didn't really feel like they could be real people. They just felt like characters in a story, and I felt it lacked that kind of depth that Beartown had. And that's just my personal opinion. I don't think I really clicked with this one, but I know it is so popular. I'm definitely in the minority here. People seem to really love this book. So don't let my opinion of this one put you off. If you want to read this book, definitely give it a go. Like I say, humour is very subjective, and for me it just kind of went into the realm of a little bit too silly, a bit too whimsical, kind of just wasn't my sense of humour. I kind of wish that I had DNF'd this one now, just because I don't think I was connecting to it and I knew that. And had it been any other author, I definitely would have put this down and said it isn't for me. But because I know that I loved his other books so much, I just kind of pushed through with it and kept reading it because I wanted to know what happened. But like I say, I didn't really connect to the characters. But he does really weave a story really well. He is a really excellent writer, and you can see that I just didn't click with it. And that's just one of those things. But it's a shame that I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. I definitely want to reread Beartown at some stage because I read it a few years ago now, and like I say, I loved it. But I want to read the sequel, and I don't think I remember enough of the details to kind of read the sequel without rereading the first one. So this one was a bit of a miss for me. But like I say, if you're interested, definitely give it a go. It seems so popular on BookTube. So many people are loving this book, so definitely give it a go. So the book I gave 3 stars to is another contemporary, and that is The Curious Charms of Arthur Pepper by Phaedra Patrick. So this is a really cute little book, and it's about our main character of Arthur Pepper, who is a 69-year-old widow. And on the 1-year anniversary of his wife's death, he starts sorting through her belongings, and he finds a charm bracelet, and on this charm bracelet is a little elephant charm with a phone number on the back, which he decides to ring. And this kind of leads him on a journey to discover the history behind all of the charms on this bracelet, and just really uncover a lot of his wife's past that he never even knew about. And if you are looking for a cute, fluffy, cozy kind of read, I would absolutely recommend it to you. But for me, it kind of lacked that emotional connection, and it wasn't particularly hard-hitting. I don't think it's going to be particularly memorable for me. I had a good time with it and I enjoyed it, but that's why I wouldn't give it any higher than a 3-star, because it just lacked that kind of depth to it for me. But like I say, it is a cute, fluffy little read, so if that's what you're looking for, I would recommend it. And it kind of draws on a lot of really great themes. So it talks about grief and loneliness, and then hope, and finding friendship in later life. And yeah, it really was cute. It's a really cozy little book. So if you're looking for something a bit more like a palate cleanser after some heavier stuff that you've read, and you just want a really nice, enjoyable, heartwarming little read, I'd recommend this one because it's cute and I liked it. So now moving into the books that I gave 5 stars to, the first one I'm going to talk about is Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman, and this is the sequel to Scythe, which I read last year, and I have to say I enjoyed this one even more, which really surprised me. So I gave Scythe 4 stars, and obviously I'm giving this one 5 stars. There was a lot more political intrigue in this book. He's really fleshed out some of his characters, and there's a lot more world building too, which I really enjoyed. So in the first one, we had diary entries from some of the Scythes, and in this one, we have diary entries from the Thunderhead itself, which I really liked. I thought it was a really great addition, and there's some new characters in here too, which I really enjoyed the inclusion of them, and it just had a wonderful cliffhanger. The way this book ended, I was just like, oh my goodness, I want to know what happens now. Brilliant ending to a book. And I have to say, this is now becoming my favourite YA series of recent years. Really enjoying this one. And as soon as I read it, I purchased the 3rd book because I want to know what happens. And I'm really liking it. So I thought this was brilliant. And if you haven't started the Arc of a Scythe series, I definitely recommend you give it a go. So another 5-star read for me was another contemporary, and that is 3 Things About Elsie by Joanna. So I actually have a separate book review on this one, so I will link that down below so you can go and check that out, and I'll just give you my brief thoughts on it here. So I thought this one was absolutely wonderful. It is written so beautifully. It's about this main character of Florence, who is an 84-year-old woman, and she has fallen over in her flat and she is waiting to be rescued. And while she's waiting, she's kind of reminiscing about her life. And I thought it was so charming, it was so emotional, it was written so well. I really connected to the characters, and it's from 3 different people's perspectives, and the way that she weaves these lives together is really wonderful. It has this kind of great kind of tapestry, this web of lives, and she does that so well. And I thought it was brilliant. I really connected to it. I thought it was charming. I thought it was witty, and it made me cry. I thought it was so good. And like I say, the way that she weaves some of these characters' lives together at the end, you're like, oh, this connects to that and that connects to that. And it was done really well. Really enjoyed it. I absolutely recommend you read this one. So my final 5-star read to talk about is The Midnight Library by Haig, and I have a book review on this one too, so I will link that down below so you can watch it, and I'll just give you my brief thoughts on it here. So I really love this book. I found it so emotive, so poignant, just so lovely. It's about the main character of Nora, who goes to the Midnight Library, and the Midnight Library is a place between life and death. and it contains an infinite number of books, and in these books contains all your possible lives, and you have the opportunity to try all of the lives that you want to see what could have been had you made a different choice. And I just thought it was so wonderful. I really, really liked the premise of this book, and it was executed really well. I read it over the course of just one day, so I absolutely devoured this book. I thought it was brilliant, and the themes that it kind of touches on of friendship and love, of familial love and romantic love, and just grief and loneliness and hope. I thought it was great. It touches on so many great topics, and it's written so well. I think Matt Haig is a brilliant author. He writes really, really well. It's my second book by him. So the first book I read by him was How to Stop Time, and I think I read that one last year. Really enjoyed that one, gave it 4 stars. And I'm really looking forward to reading more of his books. I think he's definitely an author that I just kind of click with. I really think it's easy to connect to the characters he writes about. There's a lot of depth to his books, which I really enjoy. And I think the book I'm going to read by him next is The Humans, because I've just purchased that one. I just treated myself to it. And then, yeah, I'm really interested in reading all of his books, basically. So I'd definitely recommend you read this one. I thought it was wonderful. And so far, out of all the books I've read in 2021, this is my favourite so far. So that says something. So yeah, definitely recommend you read this one. So those are the 6 books that I've read in January and February. If you have read any of these, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to chat to you about them. If there's any here that you would like to read, let me know that too. And then let me know, what is your favourite book that you've read so far in 2021? I'd love to know what it is. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more of me talking about books, please do subscribe, and then I'll see you in my next video. Bye!